troubles of 1994 and the genocide. There's Red Walters. He's had his moment. Wiesing, Oliveira and Meyerhofer. These are capable of setting a very, very decent pace. So much so that others are worried about this. The Palestine is only at a margin of 10 seconds, as you can see, and it's being dragged along, elongated, if you will, on the first climb of the day. They better get used to this, Brian, because we have over 5,000 metres of altitude gain, 5,393 to be precise.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that some of the kind of stronger cycling nations are trying to get themselves in this breakaway, such as the difficult start to this.
Don't even think about it if you're of a sensitive disposition, because this is going to be a toughie. Denmark also want to come and join the fun. Implanting rider in the break is the Netherlands as well. And here we are, Ivo Oliveira of Portugal, Meyerhofer, Walters, Wiesing. These are big names that are actually spoke long and loud about this. But then he went to the Vuelta, gets himself on the podium, finishes in third place, described it as the biggest win of his career. And he comes here amongst the favourites, Great Britain. Well, they indeed have many, many options. So here we are, getting a solid breakaway. In any other race, this would be impressive and possibly a danger, Brian, but with the distances we've got, it is something certainly to ponder, as is this. Genocide Memorial here in Kigali. It is, of course, in remembrance of those who were taken from this earth in 1994 with the genocide against the Tutsi in this part of the world. And it serves as a reminder of just how dark life can get. It doesn't matter which part of the planet you are indeed hopefully enjoying your lives. Darkness can indeed wash over you, and it's how you recover from that. And I've got to say that Rwanda has done a fantastic job. They've been brilliantly welcoming. They have given us such joy. I'm not quite sure it's joyous for some of these guys, though. They are running out of steam. This is Alfredo from the Tomorrows Islands, and indeed he is joined in his endeavour by Koroma from. We've spoken about it in the other elite races and just said, well, there's a very big difference in terms of the funding and indeed the experience of some of the riders. But this is a celebration of cycling, let there be no doubt, and they are all extraordinarily welcome. It's great to have this level of diversity and a huge input, of course, from Africa itself. Indeed,
it's a really tough awakening for some of these riders. As I said just in my opening, that there's a lot of riders here that haven't ridden a UCI race this year. This is their first UCI race. There's a lot of riders that have never been at the World Championships and are here for the first time debuting. So it's great to see riders from Kenya, from many other parts of the world, but we do have a group of 5 riders here. We've got Anders Foldager of Denmark. We've got Memo Housing of the Netherlands, Ivo Oliveira of Portugal, Fabio Christen of Switzerland, and Marius Meyerhofer from Germany.
All bikes, all disciplines. It's what the UCI is all about. And, of course, culminating each year with the World Championships. And the men's elite road race will draw proceedings to a close. Brian, it's been amazing so far. The racing has been spectacular. And I'm expecting today to be pretty much the same as far as the men is concerned.
Well, I think that throughout the week, including the time trials, we have seen the favourites prevail, let's say that. But, I thought it was an exceptional women's race yesterday. A lot of mistakes made, but then a lot gained from putting yourself right in the front of the race. And this could be very similar today. And I know that a lot of the men's elite would have watched the women's race yesterday and saw what happened. A lot of the favourites kind of marked themselves out. Yesterday in the women's race, the middle part of the race wasn't that fast. And they allowed the group at the end to come to the finish and fight out for the medals. That could be the case today if the favourites kind of look at each other. But let's see what develops in this race, because Julien Bernard is coming across here for France. Yet another good country getting themselves involved early on in this race. I've ridden the World Championships. I've commentated in many of these World Championships. And you don't often see a lot of strong cycling countries get themselves in the breakaway. This is probably one of the strongest kind of early breakaways developing at the moment that I've seen at the World Championships. Such as the nature of this course. It's not an easy one. A lot of the smaller nations cannot get involved, but we're seeing, drama here right from the start of this World Championship.
Certainly are. Fabio Christian decides to kick on here. Meyerhofer, no slouch either in his own right. Just fracturing a little bit at the front. Ivo Oliveira has decided to get a big investment here. You can see once we hit these cobbles, and get used to it because it's very much a feature of every single one of our laps that we have on the small circuits. We then will, of course, go after 9 laps on the small circuit onto a much bigger one. We just do one round to Mont Kigali. They'll know all about it because we hit the foot of that mountain. We're after about 155 kilometres of racing. The total distance today is, I guess you might say, a little cruel. You might say a lottle cruel, if that was even a word. But yeah, so 9 laps, then 1 lap of an extended circuit, and then we come back for 6 laps of the small circuit. Mount Kigali with ramps of 20%. Coming at the end of what would be a Grand Tour race distance. Then we do that mountain, and then we finish off the remainder of the day. This is cruelty par excellence, and to be able to take it on and have the will to do that at this point is absolutely remarkable. Well, checking over his shoulder at the moment, Ivo Oliveira wants company. He wants others to work hard. He'd probably want the likes of Julien Bernard to come and join the fun. And the Frenchman is making a big effort here to get over. He's not going to be one of the favourites, even within the French team. But then again, we've seen those who are off the favoured list thrive. We saw it in the women's elite rate yesterday. We were wise to the potential, of course, of our winner, who was spectacular. I think by now you will probably know, especially if you're Canadian, that Magdalena Valliere was genius. It was a course that suited her perfectly. Finding somebody to whom this course suits is a difficult task. You've got to have supreme endurance. If you have that, first and foremost, I think, Brian, then you can let your talent come through at the end and show whatever you've got left. But you have to survive it.
When this course was released, and a lot of riders thought, well, this is going to be a climber's course. This is very difficult. And a few riders, including some ex-world champions, Mathieu van der Poel, decided, no, this is too hard, but I'm not going to come here. I think looking at this course today, I think he could have been a feature. Last year in Zurich was a very difficult course. Of course, Tadej Pogačar decided to go early, just inside 80 kilometres to go. I think, listening to some of the stories from the start, what is Slovenia going to do? They will be looked at. They will be lent upon to control this race today. They are the only team with 9 riders in this race. But I just think that this breakaway here, with so many top nations in here, I don't think they're going to go to the end, but it just adds a little bit of elements to the start of this World Championships.
Certainly does. Zigor Bayar Badzaikan is indeed off up the road. Won the Tour of Thailand a couple of years ago, and he's decided that if he's going to go deep, then let it be now. Absolutely spectacular is the man from Mongolia. Decent sprinter, got a big kick on him, but he can clearly climb, and apparently time trial as well. He's got a result in just about every discipline within his nation. He's trying to bridge over at the time being, trying to get onto the coattails of Julien Bernard, and has just left the peloton behind. They've kind of settled into a bit of a holding pattern. They've got to be careful, though, even at the distances we've got, because whatever the gap is, you've got to bridge it, Brian, and that's a difficult task when you're dealing with all the climbing that we have as a constant feature of this championship. Yeah,
it's going to be intriguing to see how the countries that are here play this one out. I think a good one here from France, having Julien Bernard coming across to this group. So we now have 6 riders in this leading group, and Ivo Oliveira at the front here, the Portuguese rider and Portuguese road race champion. He seems to be the most active in this group, wants to kind of push on. Of course, Portugal, former winners of this race, but they have got a 4-man team today. They've got Morgado, which is a really good rider. Eulalio, Antunes, they have got a real good 4-man team. But interestingly, from France, of the big nations, I'm talking about the teams that are here with 8 riders or more. Denmark and France have put a rider in this breakaway, which now allows, if they stay away long into this race, it now allows their principals just to follow the moves. That's all they have to do, follow the moves and have that excuse that they've got a rider in front.
Yeah, it's a great move, and the big nations here have to include Denmark, for example. They've got Matthias Schelmos, Ardennes specialist, and somebody who could actually go very long in this race. They have Fuldagger up the road, which allows Schelmos and the rest of the support team from Denmark. It's a big crew as well. They have 8 riders here. The biggest team, by the way, with 9 is Slovenia, because they're allowed 8 as a maximum, plus of course the defending champion has to come along, and they've maxed out. Haven't seen the lime greens for a little while, as we're dwelling on our breakaway. Anders Fuldagger is the Dane, rides for Jayco. Great guy, still a youngster, 24 years of age. Third in the Coppa Sabatini, which will serve him well here. But yeah, he's been a stage winner as a young man in things like the young Giro. But look back here, it's kind of a lockdown. They want this breakaway to at least be established, and that will wash over a sense of calm as the peloton itself crosses the start-finish line at the top of one of our peaks. Downhill run, you get used to this. Once we come off this peak, we go down towards the valley bottom, and the great plain here with this river that just cuts its way through the alluvial plain at the base of all of the mountains, and that mountain runoff taking all of the goodness into the valleys where the agriculture is centred. Meanwhile, these guys, are they making hay? Well, that's what we're asking ourselves. Ivo Oliveira is just headed at the moment with Marius Meyerhofer, but they're all staying together. They've got to, essentially. But Zaykan, I think, has been reabsorbed. It's still detailed, actually, as there he is. He's still got a minute, I beg your pardon, on the peloton. Brave for him. Making it over did get Julien Bernard. Julien Bernard, one of those that badged up for being something of a breakaway today. But of all of the riders that we have up here, Ivo Oliveira is a strong rider. He's got a great palmares. He's a man who has thrived as national road race and indeed time trial champion. I've seen him go extremely strongly in Romandy earlier on this year, and yeah, he's almost the ideal candidate to get up the road. But I'd have thought that he was the principal for his team, Oliveira, and he's decided that if he wants something doing, he wants to do it himself, Brian.
I think looking at that team, they've only got 4 riders, but for me, if I was picking someone, it would be Thomas Morgado would be my favourite choice. He can get up these climbs pretty well. He's a very strong rider, and he's got a good palmares. I think for Ivo Oliveira, he's renowned for track racing, a little bit kind of sprinting, a bit of a prologue specialist. and of course not mainly a rider that can go over a lot of these climbs.